Hi, I'm Avril Ward and I'm from the district of Bodden Town. I live with my son and my husband, and they were instrumental in helping me today to put this whole production together and helping me in the kitchen, so thank you for that. I love creative cooking, so when Icoa came up with this marvelous idea of the Cayman lockdown cook-off, it was just up my street. We had to use 39 ingredients, which is a lot of ingredients, and we could use up to 5 of our own ingredients. I did use 5 of my own. I used 3 of awesome microgreens, which are available from Bodden Town and grown locally, and I used cinnamon and I used pita bread. My inspiration for the dish was easy. As soon as I opened the big red box, it was just screamed at me Middle Eastern. All the ingredients with cardamom and cloves and peppercorns just screamed Middle Eastern. So I obviously used that as inspiration and cooked a Middle Eastern dinner. What I did is that I did a 3-part meal. I did falafel with 2 dressings. I did a carrot, coriander, and coconut soup. And I did a main dish of roasted vegetables with 3 of your grains and Moroccan spicy meatballs. So before the big reveal, here is some of my process and method and what I went through today. Enjoy. Ingredients for my first course, which is a carrot coconut soup. So I've got coriander seeds, I've got bouquet garni, I've got seasoning peppers, carrot, coconut, stock, ras el hanout, and cumin. Course 1. Ingredients for the side dish. I'm doing falafel. I'll use parsley and cilantro in that. I'll use garlic and the tahini paste. I will use cucumber and lemon for the tzatziki to go with it, and also add in my own ingredient, a yogurt. My ingredients for part of the main course, which is roasted vegetables on a triad base of barley, bulgur wheat, and saffron couscous. We've got pumpkin, celery root, aubergine, olive oil, harissa, sweet peppers, tomato, and pine nuts. Remainder of the ingredients, which will be my main dish, which is Moroccan meatballs. So we've got impossible meat, thyme, onions, cardamom, salt and pepper, peppercorns, cloves, red wine, cumin, mushrooms. I'm adding cinnamon and an egg. We got sesame seeds. Just pan roasting my carrots that I'm doing for the soup. I have put the ras el hanout on them to give a curry flavor, and some coriander and salt. Added the bouquet garni, although I cut it in half because I thought it would be too much for the little amount of soup I'm making, and I've added the seasoning peppers. So now I'm going to let it all boil down before I blend it all. Here's my falafel mix ready to go. Chickpeas, parsley, cilantro, coriander, cumin, sesame, garlic, salt. Let's see how this works. My roasted vegetables ready to go into the oven. I've got pumpkin, aubergine, and the celery root. I did cover the celery root in some harissa because I didn't want to overpower the vegetables with the harissa, so I only sprinkled it on the celery root. I had plenty garlic left over, so I actually put some whole cloves of garlic. I've got tomatoes and peppers that I'll roast as well, but I'll put them in only in the last 10 minutes because I don't want them to be soggy. I want them to be all al dente. So I'm well on my way, with about halfway prepped. I've done my soup, I've got my vegetables roasting in the oven, I've made my falafel, which is cooling in the fridge, I've made my cucumber dressing, and now I'm preparing the Moroccan meatballs. So all these spices we got are not ground, they're all whole, so I'm going to have to ground them first. So in goes some peppercorns, some cloves, some cardamom. Cardamom's my favorite. Have you ever had cardamom coffee? Oh, that's something else. That's also very Israeli. Right, so we put them in. Let's give it a little grind, see what happens. Grinder not plugged in. We'll get it right. Love this little machine. Oh, cardamoms are battling. Oh no, they're coming. There's the shells coming out. Have a look. There's the empty shells coming out. It's working. Good stuff. A little bit more. Oh, it smells heavenly. Oh, Middle East. Oh, that almost took my breath away. Truly, that wasn't just a stage thing. That really happened. Okay, cardamom shells out. There's my mix. Lovely. Oh, we forgot to put cumin in. I never measure. Don't follow recipes. That's why I can't bake. But I can cook. Whew, I can smell that cumin. Oh, it's strong. Right, this is impossible meat. I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat meat. And this is the first time I'm trying impossible meat. Looks okay. Texture looks okay. Don't particularly like the smell of meat or the texture of meat, so this is not my favorite. But I think my non-vegetarian family will be thankful. So these are looking good. They're quite moist and sticky, so I'm actually not going to add an egg to them. In which case, I'll be able to keep my another in-home ingredient for if I need one. I know the secret of meatballs is mixing them well. I don't know why, but over mixing them is apparently the secret to making meatballs. When I used to eat meat and I'd make Italian meatballs, I would mix and mix and mix. So again, mushrooms, garlic, cardamom, cumin, cinnamon, peppercorns, and cloves in here. And thyme. I think that's it. Right, now I'm going to be using some ingredients that I found a little bit challenging. I don't usually find wine challenging, but I did in this case because every time I've used red wines, they tend to be in pastas and more Mediterranean dishes. But this one, my whole dish is Middle Eastern, and I'm a bit unsure how to work a red wine sauce with Middle Eastern flavors, but we're going to experiment. So I've got some olive oil on the heat here, and I'm going to put in some garlic and onions. And I'll get that fired up nicely. Often to make a red wine sauce, if you're using it with meat, you'll use the cooking juices from the meat, but because I'm not cooking meat like that, I'm not going to have those juices. However, I have got some broth left over, this lovely vegetable broth from Icoa, so I'm actually going to use that with the wine. Let's turn up the music. It wasn't so early in the morning, I'll have a glass of wine, but it's a little bit early for that. I haven't had lunch yet. This is where we'll speed it up. Right, so my red wine reduction has worked. That's reduced nicely. It's got a nice sweet flavor. It's really yum. While there was doing that, I am preparing my couscous. I've put in the remainder of the beef of the vegetable stock with a little bit of water, some oil, and I put the saffron in because I'm hoping to color the couscous a little bit yellowy. So that while that's on the boil, I'm now going to add my tomatoes into this. I've added thyme, salt, pepper, and I have added some of the Moroccan spices into this. So I'm just going to put the lid on there and let that simmer a little bit and hopefully just all meld together. And then we'll do a taste test. Cool, that's it for now. Okay, so I have roasted my garlic, my chicory root, celery root, and my pumpkin, and I'm now putting in the rest of the ingredients for another maybe 10-15 minutes in the oven, because we want them all al dente. So that's looking superb. Let's sprinkle some salt on them and some pepper. And that's it. These are going back in the oven. Okay, so I've cooked my Israeli couscous. I am at the moment steaming my bulgur wheat, and I'm now about to cook my barley. I've rinsed it, but what's amazing is I've got this wonderful where I had soaked the mushrooms. This has got so much mushroom flavor into it, so I'm actually going to use that with a little bit of water as a stock, and now I'm going to cook my barley in that to get a slight mushroom flavor in the barley, which will hopefully complement the mushrooms that are in the meatballs. We have tasted my red wine reduction. I was a little bit heavy-handed with the spices, as my family knows I can be. So we need to dilute this a little bit. So I'm going to chop up some more tomatoes and put it in, and a little bit of water, and just reduce it again, just to spread out the flavor a little bit. And we'll see how that does. See you in a bit. Right, so my meatballs have come out of the fridge. They're nice and firm. They're holding together wonderfully. So while my barley is still cooking in the mushroom stock, I am just browning the meatballs. I'm not going to fry them. I'm just browning them on the outside. I'm then going to put them into my glaze, my red wine reduction glaze, tomato and red wine glaze, and I'll let them cook through in here so the flavors will meld together. So let's have a look at what I've made. I've made 3 dishes. I think the flavors go very well together. They're colorful, they're delicious. Let's have a look. First, I started with a falafel, completely made from scratch, of course. It's got the sesame seeds in it. I've got the tahini sauce, and I couldn't make it tzatziki as I'd wanted to, because I discovered I didn't have any dill and I didn't have any cucumber. So I made this sauce, which is fabulous. It's almost like a cucumber slushy, or like a cucumber sorbet. It's simply cucumber, garlic, lemon, all blended together. And it goes amazingly well with the spiciness of the falafel. It's garnished with awesome microgreens pea shoots, which is one of my own ingredients from my home. The second dish I made was this spicy, slightly curried carrot soup. I used coconut milk with that, and this is garnished with awesome microgreens again, these leeks, which are fabulous to top it off with. My main dish over here, I've made something really spicy, which are my spicy meatballs, Moroccan meatballs. They're full of flavor. I've got roasted vegetables in the middle, and I've got my 3 grains on the side. I left the grains, you could usually spice them up, but because we've got a lot going on with the meatball, I left them pretty plain. What I did do, however, is I included the pine nuts with the barley to give it the nice extra nutty taste, and I did use the saffron to make the Israeli couscous slightly more yellow. I have garnished it with almond slices and with 2 kinds of radish, again from awesome microgreens. We're serving this with Cape Landing Reserve, a 2019 Chardonnay. I'm really glad I chose this wine, even though I hadn't seen what the ingredients were. I think it's a nice sharp wine. A Chardonnay is always good to cut a lot of who am I kidding? I have no idea about wine pairing. I just know I love Chardonnay and I love Middle Eastern food. So I know this is going to go well together. So if you like what I've done and you see how much I've sweated and appreciate the creativity, then please give me hearts. Give me lots and lots and lots of hearts, and let's win this. Thank you.